What up? Welcome. Hmm. Yeah, oof. Whole lot of shit. Also, I'd never heard of Rumble
Hey
before.
guys, Donald Trump Jr. here. Let me
What? What is Donald Trump doing here? Ew.
ask you, does inflation
Get into it. Angelic Realm. Yeah, I don't even think we got into
Also,
that.
I don't know how much I believe any of that because those terms are literally from Dante's Inferno.
Okay.
Like Seraphim, Throne, Cherubim, all of those are from Dante's Inferno in the way that he describes the way that hell is. It
Right.
doesn't really have any biblical bearing. It happened like a couple hundred years after.
Right. Is it playing sound? I can't hear shit.
Yeah, it's like a choir singing.
Oh, okay. What the fuck? Ew. That's crazy, dude. Look at these fuckers.
What the fuck is that?
I don't know.
Like Mesopotamia, but rockets.
It's just playing music. It's not explaining any of this.
Yeah,
I'm dead. Okay. Okay. That's one way to start.
the New Templars. Okay, this is about the Knights Templar.
greetings, new Templars and DSMP subscribers. I'm Dylan Lewis Monroe, aka A145, the map maker, here today to do my first full walkthrough of the latest DSMP diagram, the World Hierarchy Pyramid. This letter is our main way to stay in contact throughout the storm. And of course, on deepstatemappingproject.com too, you can support our operation by purchasing all of our different maps in different formats. We sell as laminations, which are very popular, posters, t-shirts. We have a new crystal section. And we also offer many of these maps and diagrams
Oh,
as
shit.
downloads as well, which is more convenient for our international
His hair
customers
is like
where
attacking his shirt.
international shipping has just gone astronomically insane pricing wise. So I do plan on finally listing the World Hierarchy Pyramid.
Me like behind his ears.
What?
I said it's bothering me where his beanie is on his ears.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
In
he's a
a
weirdo,
download
dude.
format by the time this is controlling the whole Draco reptilian race. That's an inaccuracy. And so you see
Hold
part
on.
of
Is he saying that there's lizard people
Uh,
in another dimension that are controlling us? Did he literally just say that there are lizard people in another dimension trying to control us? Girly, this is why I said some of that pyramid is fiction.
I don't think it is all that. It's
by
like, I don't know. I
these
don't know. I haven't looked much into like reptilian like conspiracies much there because I fear that when we start talking about stuff like that, it gets to the point where people do want to call it fiction and they want to just dismiss it immediately right off the bat. Because when you start talking about there's lizard people controlling the world, that sounds fucking insane. However, there is a very real possibility that that
That there are lizard
there's an
people controlling the world.
otherworldly or other dimensional like creature trying to control this dimension. Like that's why is that? I don't think that's that hard of a concept to be completely honest.
I don't think it's that far off of.
Like
There
reptilian,
just isn't a
talking
lot.
reptilian, I don't know because I don't know how much evidence there's out there for that.
Right.
Like
No, that's
it's
what I'm saying is like as true as it might be, as likely as it is, or whatever have you, it's not provable.
not yet. I feel like there's people trying to get evidence for this shit, but like, how do you provide evidence for that? You know what I'm saying? How would you
Wait,
even go about starting to
but
prove that?
isn't this reptilian Draco thing? Aren't they talking about like people who they think are lizards? Like when you see those
Well, because
videos, it's
like,
like her eyelid went the other way. Miley
right.
Cyrus's eyelid went the other way. I think that's what he's talking about, right?
I mean, it's possible that's what he's talking about. That's
We'll
not
look it up.
how I'm interpreting it. I feel like that is like what people think of when they think reptilian. And I think that's part of what secret societies put out there as a way to kind of cover their own ass. Because I don't think people are lizards. I think that lizards are pretending to be people, maybe. Possibly. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
Yeah.
don't know.
Reptilians, also called reptoids, archons, reptiloids, Sarians, and draconians, or lizard people, are supposed reptilian humanoids which play a prominent role in fantasy science fiction, ufology, and conspiracy theories. The idea of reptilians was popularized by David Eckel, an anti-Semitic conspiracy theorist who claims shape-shifting reptilian aliens control Earth by taking on human form and gaining political power to manipulate human societies. Bro, this is a lot.
I mean,
Some conspiracy theorists espousing the extraterrestrial hypothesis claim that either come from the Draco constellation or the Orion constellation, or are aliens with nefarious
allies.
extraterrestrials from the Orion constellation.
Allies. But okay, so here's the thing. The controversy with this theory is, for one, that he's anti-Semitic or whatever, but for two, people say that this was put out there as a way to distract the masses from the actual corruption from within the government.
So,
Which could be possible. I don't really know, like you said, because there's not really that much evidence for it.
but here's the thing:
But
is I think that this David, I think that this pyramid is not as literal as it seems. I think that it needs to be taken in hypotheticals. Like, as much
right,
as there might not be evidence for lizard people, they could exist. And the fact that they could exist means that they belong on society somewhere. You know what I mean? So somewhere in that pyramid, these lizard people or whatever have you are gonna.
from what it sounds like this guy did enough research and he believes it enough to want to include it in this pyramid with this other real shit. You know what I'm saying?
So I think that it's all real to him. I think that it is just that as an outside viewer, we should take it
Right,
with a
right,
grain,
right, right.
which should
Right,
be
right.
a hypothesis, not end all be all.
Receive
Right. Okay,
other
yeah.
ones, which may present.
Let's get it.
So here it is, the completed diagram. I think you
Fucking
can
insane.
see just by looking at it briefly that it's a lot more complex than any of the other ones I just showed you. Like I said, the idea for this began all the way back when I created the QWeb, and I had all the research diagrams kind of set aside. I knew this was a diagram I wanted to add to DSMP's catalog in the future. The on Earth being connected with the supposed gods, which I would refer to as more like lower gods, not the highest of high gods, which we do have on the diagram at the top. This diagram is mostly evil because the system on our planet is mostly evil from the ground up, all the way through evil extraterrestrials who are controlling the highest human leaders on this planet. But I did want that.
Okay, I gotta be real. This is hard to watch because he's just like in such a false reality, bro.
What do you mean?
It's just crazy the things that he's saying. It doesn't make sense. Like I don't understand why we're not talking about the absolute truths when we are in this. Like he's literally interjecting like fantasy elements into what's really happening. You know what I mean? Like you can say
But these
the
aren't
system
like
sucks or whatever.
fantasy elements. This isn't like something that some like person made up in their bedroom.
It kind of is though.
This is no, it's kind of not though, because this is historical facts. Like people in history believed in these gods and they thought they were real. Okay, so it's not like that crazy of an idea
That's
to
not
think
what
that
he's
people
talking
still
about.
think these gods are real. That's exactly what he's talking about.
No, he's talking about the fourth tier. You're talking about the fifth tier. He's
He's
talking
saying
about
that he's
extraterrestrials.
saying that these interdimensional gods and beings and figures are controlling the highest level of power in human dimension. Like that's what he's trying to I mean like yeah, it's a pretty
He's
broad
just he's
concept and
using
it's kind of a lot to take in, but it's not
no, he's
like
using words in context that it's like if he really thought this way, then he wouldn't be using those because it's
okay,
like easily disprovable. Like the whole fifth tier is literally the angelic hierarchy from Dante's Inferno.
well maybe he goes into it. Let's just see.
But I'm just saying Dante's Inferno isn't anything to take like facts out of. It's literally a poetry book. What is that?
I'm like I plead the fifth. I don't know. I'm not gonna say shit.
It's because you know you're wrong to believe
No,
in this.
it's
This is crazy.
because I'm not gonna sit here and tell you you're wrong. That's why I plead the fifth. It's because you could feel your way, I'm gonna feel my way. Seems like we don't agree, so I plead the fifth. And I'm saying let's just keep watching because he might explain.
I mean, I'm sure he will, but it's going to be covered in lizard people.
Diagram to proceed all the way past the, which is debatable, why this evil is being permitted to exist, if that is a benevolent God, or if it's more a God of duality. However, I do believe in an ultimate benevolent God, and it's just who we choose to align ourselves with on this planet, which we're in the process of realigning all.
See, okay, I have an issue with that too. You can't, in the same breath, be like, I believe in a dualistic God, and lizard people are taking over the world. Like a dualistic, oh God. Okay, if it doesn't even make sense what he's saying because he's trying to say that there's a God that is like in charge of the multiverse when like a God is inherently like the creator of a single universe. You know what I mean? Or not even necessarily a creator of the universe, but like a certain element that is required to make the universe run. You know what I mean?
Kind of.
I don't know. I don't think I don't think that you can talk about lizard people and God in the same breath and be taken seriously. This is a little ridiculous.
Okay, that's your opinion. Let's keep watching.
You're
All
crazy.
this. So again, this whole system, even into the extra dimensional areas, is in the process of being dismantled, at least in the vicinity of planet Earth. And so we will have a whole new hierarchy coming in soon. But this is just to let people know what we are dealing with. Some people ask, why is the White Hat plan taking so long? Well, this is why it is taking so long. It is not a simple thing to
What
deconstruct,
the
and it
fuck is
has,
the white hat
many,
plan?
many layers of reinforcement, many.
This seems weird.
No, that's just go back to the video. Let's just keep watching. Come on.
I need to know what this white hat plan is because he's also talking like I should just know what all of this stuff is. And it's like you are so far into your fantasy world that it like doesn't even matter.
Okay, let's just
It's
keep watching the
okay,
video.
it's not letting me.
Oh,
To start explaining the different tiers of this diagram, which there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of, as well as
Six.
some supplementary diagrams
There's six.
in
He
the
can't even count his
margins.
own
I
diagram.
want to bring your attention to the fact that we offer the reverse side of this diagram, which is the reverse side of the flyer version. I want to first kick this off with just briefly reading the essay about the entire diagram.
God is high. That's why the world is the state that it is in. He's just smoking meth.
facts.
On the back,
Did not just say that the only option to stay out of the hierarchy is to become a sovereign citizen. I can't listen to this man. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
What does that even mean to be a sovereign citizen?
It means, oh, you were speeding and got pulled over. Actually, no, I'm a sovereign citizen. I'm not a United States citizen, so you can fuck off, cop. And then they get arrested. Bro, sovereign citizen is somebody who, like, literally just tries to stay away from all government in the world. It's ridiculous. It's like you can't live that way in a modern day society. You have to do some contribution to society.
Well, he's still contributing to society.
I
So
didn't say that. I didn't say that he wasn't, but a sovereign citizen is somebody who doesn't contribute to society intentionally and tries to say that they live without any help at all.
no, because you're viewing society and government as the same thing, and it's not the same thing. It's just
No,
someone who
okay,
doesn't
but
participate in government.
no, it's the same thing because the government
It's not the
already
same thing
no, the
because
government already has power and exists. And sorry, we only have less than a minute. But fucking the government
okay.
has the power that it has because of the people, okay? Right? So if you're a sovereign citizen,
So I was gonna say, just because you are a sovereign citizen doesn't mean that you're not contributing like to your community because ultimately I feel like that matters more. Like if you're connected with your community and you're like helping your community grow a garden, you're helping your community in like I don't know, any way, like picking up trash off the street, like any way possible. If as long as you're doing your part in like contributing locally, I feel like that's more important than contributing like to the government or like having to pay your taxes or some shit. I don't know. I mean, like, I understand taxes are important to a certain extent. I'm not trying to say taxes are not important because, like, there was a, like, I don't know, the taxes could be used for better, like for good, but right now they're just like kind of being wasted to a certain extent.
Okay, but like a sovereign citizen is somebody who like tries to get out of the government without like they want certain things still. They want to use hospitals and they want to use grocery stores and they want to go to the doctor's appointment or whatever, but they literally renounce their citizenship and are like, I am not affected by the law. That's what a sovereign citizen is. It's used like in a
That
wrong
sounds
way.
fire.
Okay, except it's illegal and you can't do that. Like people say that they do that, but you can't do that. You live here in America and you are using our resources just the same as everybody else, and you need to pay your taxes just like everybody else. It's basically like them
It's
saying, fuck
basically like
everybody
being
else.
an it's basically like being an illegal alien.
No, not at all. Not at all. Because these people were people who were born here and have paid previously and are doing things that they should have done up until they chose to become a sovereign citizen. It's not the same thing as an illegal alien because an illegal alien actually contributes to society. A lot of the time, they end up having jobs and like buying things and spending money, taking in money. Like that helps the economy more than it hurts the economy. And somebody declaring sovereignty is literally bullshit.
But aren't they of the same legal status because they're not a US citizen?
No, they're still a US citizen. They just don't want to be, so they said that they aren't. You can't
I'm
get rid of your
not
citizenship like
sure
that.
about that.
You can't get rid of your citizenship. There's no way in like modern age life to not be a citizen in at least one or more countries.
What does it mean to be sovereign? I don't well, what's the definition
Of what?
of sovereign? Like what it does sovereign citizen mean?
Sovereign. Yeah, okay. It says a
Sovereign.
supreme ruler, especially a monarch. Former British gold worth £1 sterling, or possessing supreme or ultimate power. That's what sovereign means.
I'm confused.
I'm
Kind
also
of.
confused.
I think what he's trying to say is that you need to have ultimate power over yourself as a citizen. I think that's what I'm getting from that,
No,
but
it's saying that you possess supreme power. One
right,
possessing or held that possesses supreme political power or sovereignty. So basically they're trying to be like an ambassador from another country. That would be a better like comparison because that would give you the same amount of rights.
right. I don't know. I'm a little confused, but
Yeah, but it's because they're talking about like themselves as being a separate nation. Like this is because a lot of times sovereign citizens will be like, "Well, I own this land. The government doesn't have any. I own it, so this is my nation. This is where I make my rules."
right.
I don't know. I think it's bullshit. I think that if you're gonna be a part of society, you're gonna breathe our air, you're gonna drink our water, then you need to commit to that.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess to a certain extent, but like,
Like the issue is you can't just say, I am the king now. I am King Dingling of whatever, and I can do whatever I want. You can't say that anymore. Fucking, you're gonna get
when
arrested.
you have your own land and you fucking like are doing your own thing, you kind of can, yeah.
Okay, then don't travel to the United States. Stay your fucking ass away from my Walmart and my fucking food stamps and shit.
Why?
Because if you aren't contributing to society, if you aren't helping make this a better place, you're not paying your taxes like you should, then that doesn't correlate to this is somebody that deserves the convenience of Walmart or
But
a hospital.
rich people don't pay their taxes.
I agree. They don't deserve a hospital either. Like, and it's not that they don't pay their taxes, it's that they avoid paying taxes, which is like not any better. It's just they still
I
do
don't.
pay taxes though. They still pay some of them. They
I don't
probably
know.
pay like the same amount of taxes as me and you.
Um, no snacks.
So
No snacks.
go get some snacks.
I can't. We're recording.
Aw, maybe. We only made it 16 minutes through.
Yeah, because you keep pausing the fucking video.
Yeah, because he's wrong.
So as we zoom in here and start from the bottom, I'm not going to go through every point on this diagram, but I at least want to discuss each section and maybe bring your attention to a few specific important pieces of the puzzle in each section. And what I've written about this bottom section on the back of the diagram is this. Tier 1 is bronze, the general population. The ignorant masses live out their lives in a totally unaware dreamlike state, enhanced by psychoactive medications and highly developed EMF-based behavioral modification technologies such as 5G. Humanity.
He just said 5G is taking over your mind.
It's like part of it, yeah. You haven't heard about all the bad shit about 5G?
Bro, no, that's literally insane. It's a fucking radio wave.
Everything is waves.
Yeah, but it's not bad for you. It's literally just light.
Okay.
He suffers from mass MK Ultra at the hands of intelligence agencies and the secret clubs controlling them. The normie, who actually believes what he sees on TV, perceives the highest level of ruling authority on Earth to be the UN. Propaganda is not questioned. This aggregate is considered livestock to the carnivorous reptilian extraterrestrials and hybrid noble families. So here you see the Matrix, also known as Satan's Hell Matrix, and all this different terminology of what has been referred to as the general population, from clones to robotoids, sheep, cattle, NPCs, zombies, goyim, which means non-Jew, useless eaters, breeders, and the cycle of birth, school, debt, labor, taxes, retirement, and death, which is what they want to keep you trapped in, that rat wheel of just endlessly working for the system in order to never really get rewarded. And one of
Bro, there's literally, do you see this right here? That's the monster logo. And you know what it says
I know.
around? It says the mark of the beast.
Well, that's because that's what it is.
It's not.
Yeah, do you know the history behind the monster logo?
It's a M.
Look it up. Look up the history behind the monster logo.
The logo is indeed an iconic logo that has been around for almost 2 decades without even the slightest of changes. The visual identity was shown instantly when the company was founded at the brand. Though it was excellent, there was no changes since then. The design was developed by a professional design studio that came up with a one-of-a-kind logo, and the logo shows a giant neon green M on a black background. What makes the logo so unique and stand out from others competition, lettering that is used for the M makes it stylized to look like a claw mark that appears like it could have been made by a monster. The scratches are unique and add a new air of mystery to the brand. Below the symbol is the company name, and letters of for this are also looking unique, torn and looking unique. It's not the fucking mark of the beast, whatever the fuck that means.
Well,
I'm gonna look up the mark.
yeah, there you go.
Okay, it's an invisible spiritual mark that, and we understand that instinctively with Christians receiving the mark, it is the same thing here with those who receive the mark of the beast. In both cases, we are talking about an invisible stamp of approval. So it's literally not even a real symbol, and somebody just said that's the mark of the beast one time because of their logo, because their thing is unleash the beast.
I'm dead.
I don't know
Yeah.
if I can watch this anymore. Like he's being really fucking stupid. There's literally a piece down here that says zombies. There's not zombies that
Last
are
edition
really
that I put
existing
on
in
the
our
diagram.
world.
Right. It's not talking about literal zombies. It's like
No, he
that's
literally
how
said literal zombies. Do I need to scroll the video back 2 seconds?
No, I don't think he said literal zombies.
Bro,
He literally was just describing that this is how people
listen,
like that's how the elite
Just
view
want to
us.
discuss
listen.
each section and maybe bring your attention to a few specific important pieces of the puzzle in each section. And what I've written about this bottom section on the back of the diagram is this. Tier 1 is bronze, the general population. The ignorant masses live out their lives in a totally unaware dreamlike state, enhanced by psychoactive medications and highly developed EMF-based behavioral modification technologies such as 5G. Humanity suffers from mass MK Ultra at the hands of intelligence agencies and the secret clubs controlling them. The normie, who actually believe.
Did you hear what he just said? That people suffer from mass MK Ultra? That doesn't even make sense as a sentence. MK Ultra is an event that happened. It's not like a
No,
happened.
it's a CIA program.
Yeah, but it's not like it's not he used the word wrong, is what I'm saying. So I don't think he even knows what the fuck he's talking about. I think he's literally making this shit up.
Oh my God, bro. Yeah, that's an interesting perspective to take.
Because he's literally throwing in words and weird shit when it has no prevalence to what he's talking about.
But it does. Here's my take is that you haven't done any research about any of these topics, and all that you know about MK Ultra is from what I've told you.
Yeah.
So this
Okay, but
guy
did you
has
hear the way
dedicated
that
the
he said
past
it?
few years of his life to doing research unbiasedly into all of these different topics and created this fucking pyramid. And he's trying to explain to you the pyramid in the simplisticest way that he can, because he literally said at the beginning, all of this is debatable and this is a very complex topic. And a lot of this, you do have to have pre-context to a lot of what this stuff is to fully understand what he's talking about here. But you're just like you're basically calling him stupid and saying that he doesn't know what he's talking about when he's literally dedicated years of his life to doing research.
I didn't call
I
him
just think
stupid.
that's a really interesting take.
I don't think he's stupid. I never said that he was stupid.
I don't know if you did say he was stupid or not. All I'm saying is that clearly this guy has done the research.
No, I don't
So
think he's stupid.
he
I
knows
think
what he's
there's just,
talking about to a certain extent.
but there's a lot of shit in here that don't make any fucking sense at all. Robotoids? What the fuck is a robotoid?
I don't know. Can we stop pausing the video?
No.
It's the highest level of ruling authority, and all this different terminology of what has been referred to as the general population, from clones to robotoids, sheep, cattle, NPCs, zombies, goyim, which means non-Jew, useless eaters, breeders, and the cycle of birth, school, debt, labor, taxes, retirement, and death, which is what they want to keep you trapped in, that rat wheel of just endlessly working for the system in order to never really get rewarded. And one of the last additions that I put on this diagram was this mark of the beast here in the center, which is actually the Monster Beverage logo, which is the same thing as 666 written in ancient Hebrew. So of course we know now that the vaccine seems to have been the mark of the beast. And so we may be, in the final stages of this idea that Christians call revelations. So then you have corporations above the governments, which is very specifically placed there because in many ways it does, between lobbyists and bribes and what we call the revolving door, it would seem that corporations have more of a grasp of control on this world than the actual supposedly representative governments. There is crony capitalism and nepotism, which, we have so many proponents of capitalism in the West, and everyone is so much against communism, especially in the MAGA movement. But I don't even really believe that what we have is capitalism, true capitalism. It's not a free market because it's all a market based on crony capitalism and favors and deals made behind secret closed doors and secret meetings, deals between nobles and elites who are really running this system, creating their monopolies. And so much of the economy, from what I've observed in my life, seems to be mainly a simulation. And the little sub caption that I have here directly in the center says, "Beyond the veil of ordinary perception." So this is the kind of stuff where if you try to talk to a normie about it, their eyes are probably just going to gloss over. They might tell you you're a conspiracy theorist and that things like the Bilderberg Group and all these other things just don't exist. Don't worry about it. By the government in
It's
the interest
interesting
of the
to
people,
think
which is unfortunately
everything in tier
not
2
the case.
is real. Like very real.
The
Yeah.
Secret World Order
But
is
then
divided
he has
into
these
two
things around in
hexagon group,
in the
which
first
is
tier and in
shown
the
on
third
the
tier.
left
Okay,
here.
pause it if you're gonna
But
talk.
Freemason,
He has weird stuff in the first tier and in the third tier, but then the second tier is just all regular, like this is real provable things, which I think it goes as far as to like, well, most things are listed right here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like also very like obvious that those things are the things in charge of the world, I think.
and Khazarian Mafia. I'm in a little bit here and see what we can see. We have the publicly recognized international assemblies, agreements, protocols, and tribunals, such as the European Court of Human Rights, the International Criminal Court, the World Zionist Organization, and Geneva Convention. Who are all involved in the drug trade, and a few of the most well-known cartels or mafias in the world would be the Sinaloa, Mexico, and Ndrangheta from Italy, the Triads from China, and MS-13. I'm not sure where their base is, but Central South American. You can refer to these as mercenary armies. And actually, mercenary armies was meant to reference what is called PMCs, or private military contractors, which are not illegal mafias like these other ones, but are being used more and more in kinetic conflicts throughout the world. It's said that Trump is actually protected by one of the most well-known Russian PMCs, private military forces, or private military contractors. And so I think on a future version of this map, I would like to add the term PMC because it's very important to understand in the big scheme here. But this is where this one stands at this point. These exist all over the country. Anytime you're driving into a town, you'll see signs for the Lions clubs, the Rotary clubs. And I'm not sure exactly how nefarious a lot of these are, but I do know that a lot of their membership overlaps with the Freemasons. And once you get into that Freemason structure, it's still not that nefarious until you get up to the 33rd degree, and then you find out that it's worshiping Lucifer and going along with all these New World Order, depopulation, anti-human agendas, and worshiping Satan, practicing black magic, spitting on the cross, breaking the cross, defiling the name of Jesus. And so, it's
Who
not
cares?
necessarily bad at the lower levels, but it's all controlled by the higher levels, which are bad. And so very important to know if you're getting involved in any of these organizations.
It's the reason people care is because it's symbolic. It's like whether you believe in Jesus or not doesn't really matter. It's just like it's the fact
I'm
that
wondering, why.
it's the fact that like people put so much belief into these symbolic things like the cross that when like whether you personally believe in it or not, it's symbolic in these groups where a lot of these people do believe in this stuff. When you break that cross, that means something to everybody in the room. So a lot of celebrities, I'm not gonna say a lot of celebrities, I'm just gonna say, for example, like a celebrity who wants to get famous really quickly, let's say they get called into a ritual, they get asked to break the cross, and to that celebrity it might not seem like that big of a deal, but to all these people in this room that are asking her to do that, that's like a pretty symbolic fucking thing. And you're basically, it's like a contract. It's like you're committing to doing this thing and being a part of this secret society. That's why like that's why it matters. It's not that people care necessarily. It's just like that's the significance that it holds.
I don't know.
Anyway, let's keep watching.
Masonic structure, which shows you the progression of both the Scottish Rite and the Yorkish Rite. The Yorkish Rite including 10 main levels that you can step up through as you get to the top order, which is the Order of the Knights Templar, which is not the original Knights Templar. It's the Order of the Knights Templar rank within Freemasonry. Very important distinction there. And then the Scottish Rite, which has so many more ranks. The Yorkish Rite was the original one developed out of England, said to be developed possibly by Saint Germain with benevolent intentions in mind. And the Scottish Rite, the one developed on the continental Europe, I believe by the French lodges and very deeply corrupted by the Illuminati and Adam Weishaupt's organization over time, and developed so many different other ranks and rituals that were a lot more nefarious and got even more nefarious at the tippy top. There's sort of minor, almost decorative point here is you see the two pillars on either side of this section, which are the two pillars of Freemasonry, Boaz and Yakin. And typically they are not labeled construction and destruction, but since the Masons are sort of the bridge between Hexagon Group and Octagon Group, and their members are involved in so many different both political and business organizations, it occurred to me that there are two main functions within Freemasonry seem to be construction, as in building construction, building alliances, building scientific organizations. And then the other hand of that is the destruction. And this also relates to their checkerboard symbolism, which is so central to Freemasonry as well, and represented in the center of every lodge's main hall, and with the Freemasonic checkerboard floor, representing light and dark, construction and destruction. I also think the two pillars may represent a form of circuitry or a positive and negative charge. which, they do have much ancient knowledge of ancient batteries. And so it's potentially something to do with that as well. And what I call megalithic circuitry, where similar structures to our microprocessors today were actually built into mega scale monolithic structures such as the Parthenon, Solomon's Temple, and other ancient stone buildings.
Oh, now we're back. Bam, bam, bam.
Hmm.
Okay, let's go. Let's do this. Let's finish it up. So let's skip forward to when he starts talking about the third tier.
That we cannot fail to mention.
I can't see your
They
screen.
do wield an important element of power in the world.
It's not my fault.
So why I put this section above the secret societies, Volker mentioned this, it's the mind control exerted over the most powerful cults in the world. It is the priesthoods, the leaders of Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. There are older cults preceding these, for a king is believed to be anointed by God, and ancient priest kings were studied adepts in the dark arts. Covens of warlocks and witches lurk in the darkest shadows of the royal ranks. Titles of nobility are a prerequisite to hold any authority in navigating mankind. So clearly the Vatican and the Pope are very central. The Vatican and the Pope has been central ever since my first QWeb diagram. And so there it is in the center there with the sculpture of the pine cone, which is actually at the Vatican and represents the pineal gland of the human brain. And really small there that is the text under spiritual law, which says the pineal gatekeepers. And this is a very important aspect of all the spiritual law or spiritual organization of this planet, is to actually prevent normal people from accessing their pineal glands and their perception into the higher dimensions, and trying to tell people that we need these organizations like organized religion.
What?
Okay. Do you know anything about that? The pineal gland and all that type shit?
No.
You don't know nothing about that?
No.
Well, you should really look into it. Basically, your pineal gland is your third eye. It's like, I don't know how to explain it, but you should really look into it.
Time. And then the cult of Baal is obviously referencing the cult of Baal, my diagram, as well as the core beliefs of all these different Abrahamic religions, including Judaism, which goes back to the Canaanite pantheon and the worship of Baal, which the common practice of worshiping Baal was, of course, child sacrifice. And that's what all these corrupted Abrahamic spiritual belief systems all.
Bro, did you just hear that?
The Phoenician
Yeah.
Canaanite.
I mean, it's no different than any other government, bro.
Bro, he just said they're literally like sacrificing children.
Yeah, no different.
Dude. Think about like all the thousands of children that go missing every year. And all this other shit, man. Like, it's very scary and sad to think about.
Away space program of the original Third Reich, the Nazis, which is said to have now expanded into a solar system-wide interplanetary conglomerate empire with many different slave colonies throughout the solar system. Of course, some of this is not necessarily provable, but this is what the whistleblowers and secret space program defectors are saying. And it certainly wouldn't surprise me. The large teal bubble in the middle of this section represents the extra-dimensional entities who are controlling everything in the physical realm below them. The most common terminology that we refer to these as is demons, archons, jinn in Islam, oni is a Japanese term. These are the entities that are summoned in a lot of these occult rituals and latched on to physical beings, essentially becoming the puppeteers of flesh and bone marionettes. There are even higher and bigger and more powerful extra-dimensional entities which are spoken of in some
He actually got how demons work really well. He like that. I agree with that, and he encapsulates a lot of different cultures. Like jinn, that's a Pakistani word, like southeastern Asia. Um, because yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of sauce.
Panel material such as
Yeah.
chimera, which are
All right, we're back, you stupid whores. Fuck you.
Yeah.
of the
Make breast.
A couple of the 3D physical world benevolent factions mentioned here are Solar Warden. So above all of this is at last the angelic realm. And now I must preface this and say that this is strictly from a Christian conception. There's definitely overlap with the Jewish conception.
I'm gonna throw this out there. It's not even a Christian conception. This is literally about Dante's Inferno. Like that is literally the nine realm, like tiers of angelic society in Dante's Inferno. This has nothing to do with the Bible. And it might be Christian ideology nowadays, but it's not from the Bible.
Maybe some overlap with the Islamic or justice, protect.
Okay.
So I think the reason that he like pointed out that this was in a Christian point of view is because it's assuming that there, I don't know if Christian point of view is the best way to put it, but it's assuming that there is a one God, one
Yeah.
all
He should
powerful.
have said that it's a monotheistic view. He shouldn't have said Christian. He should have
Yeah,
said
I mean,
even Abrahamic view. Because
right, yeah.
no,
Yeah.
I
The
feel
point is that it's, yeah, supposed to be like there is one God. And so that is rather like you said, like Abrahamic like religion. Because there's many other religions that worship like multiple gods.
right.
And like I don't know if those religions still have an ultimate say all God, but I don't think they do,
Most
from
of
what I
them
understand.
don't. Like
Yeah.
even like Greek mythology where Zeus is the god of gods, uh he still has a dad, but Kronos is
Right.
still Zeus's father. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think you're right to a certain extent. Yeah.
But yeah.
cherubim and thrones or oraphim, which you see here to the left and right of God. The seraphims usually being depicted as heads or eyeballs surrounded by wings. The cherubim, which were described in Ezekiel's vision, were entities with four wings and four heads and cloven feet, the head of a human, the head of an ox, a lion, and an eagle. Now, some say that these are just analogies for astrological features. However, I like to take Ezekiel's vision literally, but who knows if it's actual entities out there that actually look like this, or if this is
Can you imagine?
or something else.
Yeah, no.
In real life, oh my god, I'd shit my pants.
No, do you know that that thing in Adventure Time, Glog Grob Gob God, is uh like supposed to look like a cherubim. Or he has four heads.
Well, I'm talking about the fucking thing with the three heads and the wings and the legs and the whatever. That's
Cherubim. It's a
terrible.
cherubim. Say it.
What?
It's a cherubim.
Cherubim.
Yeah. It's
Cherubim.
yeah, it's like a cherub. Like the way that cherubim start out too is they don't necessarily have the four head thing. It's like the um idea of Cupid being like a baby. That's how they start out.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Ew.
Oraphim as well, which simulation world.
Bro, what the fuck is this image?
Oh my god,
Stop. Stop.
no!
There you have it. That is
True.
hierarchy
I'm
pyramid.
dead.
I'm gonna kill myself after watching that. That was awful. Okay. Final thoughts, I guess.
Yeah, final thoughts. My final thoughts is
He
that
lost
was
me
a
at the
lot.
chessboard. He lost me at the chessboard, bro.
No, I mean I get the analogy, but
I do too. It just is too. He takes a lot of things really literal.
I appreciate the effort and the concept. Um, and it was interesting to watch. I think a lot of it is based on facts, but also like opinions to a certain extent because religion is based on a lot of opinions. So when you get up into the higher realms, it all just becomes very like based on your perception of like life. You know what I mean?
Right, which is, I don't know. As much as he took from Dante's Inferno, like it has to be wrong because like Dante's Inferno isn't even technically a religious text. It just like describes how hell is, and it describes like it's heaven, and it describes like the nine choirs and stuff like that. But at the same point, it's like literally a book that we know who wrote it and like why he wrote it and all this stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, you know, there's that. But
Yeah.
before that, I think all the way up through tier three is pretty accurate of like how far or how the government runs and how society works. There's just
Right. Up until tier three is like 100% factual. Like no denying that is all factual right there.
yeah.
And then it's like the past that it just becomes more of like religious text.
Yeah, to a certain point, but like I don't know, he was talking about extra dimensional stuff too because I think that
True.
that's a possibility. But I don't know if there's like parallel dimensions and stuff, then I think that there's not just like dimensions to the right and left of us. There would also be dimensions like above and below us too. But those dimensions are more like um only attuned if you have certain senses to be able to sense what's going on there. You know what I mean?
Well, it depends on how you look at it dimensionally. Like that's on a two-dimensional plane, but when
No,
you bring it to a
I think the
one-dimensional
way
plane,
that
it's
he
like
was trying to explain it is that all dimensions exist within like a tier up from each other. Like heaven would be another dimension, just like hell is another dimension. You know what I mean?
maybe.
I think that's what he was trying to say by talking about vibrational planes and stuff.
Right. I don't know. It definitely is a lot to dive into right off the bat. You know what I mean? Because like I was saying earlier in the video, it's like there's a lot of things in here that I don't necessarily like know about. Like I don't know a lot about,
Right.
but it's all very interesting. Like whether it's all true or not, it's still very interesting. And I feel like there is a lot of
There's a lot of truth to it. It's just there's definitely parts where it's like up to your opinion.
yeah. Well, yeah.
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 All right. Well,
So this has been part three, and this is the final part. Us watching the video. I think it was worth the watch. I think everybody watching this video should definitely go check out that video and check out the website in general. I'm definitely probably gonna watch a couple of their other videos and just see what they got going on. I mean,
it's
it
interesting to acknowledge that there's a huge part of the population nowadays that believes in this type of thing. You know what I mean? Like at the
right.
very least, even if it isn't real, like I said in the last video, if it's something that makes you like live your life in a different way, then it might as well be as real as you say it is.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. All
All
right.
right.
Well, fuck all you party people. We're out.